Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at this album. It was requested by a commenter called Matthew Gold, so thank you very much for requesting this review. I'm going to be looking at Echo and the Bunnymen's album Ocean Rain today. I'll just be doing the usual thing, giving a bit of background information about the record, showing you my vinyl copy, and then going over each of the album songs in detail. So this was the band's fourth studio album, released on the 4th of May in 1984. Their album before this was called Porcupine, which hadn't been the kind of sort of critical breakthrough which the band that were hoping for. It did have I think 2 UK top 20 singles on it. However, critically, it got quite a mixed negative response, and the band kind of found themselves wanting to change their sound. They made a standalone single, I think towards the end of 1983, a song called Never Stop, which showed them kind of expanding the sound beyond the kind of guitars, bass and drum guitar indie rock which they've been known for. Also, songwriter Ian McCulloch's lyrics were becoming a lot more kind of mystical and a bit more sort of spiritual, which lent themselves to more extravagant arrangements. So this record was recorded mostly in Paris with the help of a full 30-piece orchestra, with additional overdubs and work done in Liverpool and Bath. This album was a success for the band. I think it is their most successful release. It hit number 4 in the UK and would later go gold. However, stateside success kind of eluded them. Only managed to reach number 87 over there. Critically, it did get a lot better reception than Porcupine had got. However, it was still mixed, with some people kind of feeling that the band had lost their rock edge. Rolling Stone magazine only gave it 2 stars. However, others sort of praised the more melodic and more poetic songs. So I'll now just show you my vinyl copy of it here. Great album cover art here. I'll just get it out of the sleeve so you can see it a little bit better. But it kind of the first 4 records are all kind of themed around the elements. The first one, I think the album's called Crocodiles. That's sort of got a fire in the background. The second one's got the sea, or I think it's the wind it's supposed to be. Porcupine snow, so this one's sort of water. So it's a nice sort of artwork theme which they had going. There's the back of it there. This one comes with a inner sleeve here, but it's not much, just get a little picture off the recording sessions, and then some writing on the back. So no lyrics or anything, which is a little bit disappointing. It's just on the usual Corova Records label for Echo and the Bunnymen's releases, and this is also, I think, a German pressing, just looking at it here. So yeah, that is the vinyl record looked at. Okay, so I'm now going to go over each of the album's songs. I'll score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album.
The sky is blue, my hands untied, oh well, it's true.
So it begins with the song Silver, which is a really great opening track. It's got a nice acoustic guitar, really lovely string arrangement. McCulloch does a really great vocal, and the track is really interesting throughout. So I think it's a wonderful track there to kick off the to kick off the album. Was also a single released from it, got to number 30 on the UK charts. So Silver, really fantastic song there. I personally would give it a 10 out of 10. I can't really think of anything wrong with it. Next one is called Nocturnal Me, which is a much sort of slower, more mysterious song. This is kind of a lot more centered around the arrangement. Whereas with Silver, you could almost imagine that being on one of their previous albums. This song is very distinctive to this record here. It is very sort of much built around the kind of string sounds on it. McCulloch does a really great sort of confident vocal on the song, and overall it is just a really great track there. I mean, it isn't one which I play too much in isolation, but certainly when it is on the album, I do really appreciate this song. So yeah, Nocturnal Me would get a 8 out of 10 personally. And then we're thrusted back in with a more upbeat track called Crystal Days, which is possibly my favourite song like on like the album. Like, I know most people would probably go for like The Killing Moon or like Seven Seas or something like that, but I just love Crystal Days. It is a really strong, like melodic track. It's got a sort of bouncy, sort of jangly, like acoustic guitar in it, with like the string like backing it up. Like the strings don't take over this song; they just complement it really nicely. It's also got like an unexpected guitar solo, which is quite sort of like distortion laden. Like you're not really like expecting that. Like, but it is a really nice touch there, like on the song. Plus, it being pretty short, this track is only about 2 minutes long. You kind of just want to hear it like again, like after like it finishes. So like yeah, I can't get enough like of this song. Crystal Days. We'll get a 10 out of 10. The next one is called The Yo-Yo Man, which is quite similar to like Nocturnal Me. It is kind of very much centered like around like the like arrangements. Basically, like if like you take like the strings like off this song, you're pretty much like left with nothing kind of thing. Again, it is good like vocally. I think like Ian McCulloch, he's really kind of channeling like sort of like a Scott Walker kind of like influence. Like I've heard like him sort of like described as being like a cross between Scott Walker and Ian Curtis from Joy Division, which is quite like a like interesting mix. Like, but it's certainly like it is a good description like of like McCulloch's kind of singing style. Again, with this track, it has got a very intricate like arrangement to it, featuring xylophones and like all sorts like on this song really. But they maybe get in, like the way like of it like a little bit, and like it's sort of completely like sort of like built around like the like arrangement that like the kind of song. The actual content like of like the song kind of goes like to like the background like a little bit more with this song. So yeah, Yo-Yo Man would get 7 out of 10 personally. And then we close this side one with one of my favourites like on the record, a song called Thorn of Crowns, which this is another really good track. It's quite a tense like atmosphere to this one here. Like the drummer, who I forget his name, like he plays sort of like the brushes, which gives it like this very kind of tense like atmosphere. I would say with this song though, the lyrics are maybe a little bit like throwaway, like in places like McCulloch singing like cucumber cabbage, sort of like is like the introduction is like a sort of like that is like sort of like the way he sings it, kind of channeling like sort of like Roger Daltrey's like My Generation, like the way he sings that, and like, but it's a guitar break like on this song, which makes it for me personally. It kind of just sort of takes off like when like Will Sergeant like plays like his like the guitar lick. So yeah, like it's quite sort of 60s like influence this song as well. Like here, like look like the Doors like in like this track. So yeah, Thorn of Crowns would get a 9 out of 10. A really, really great song there. And then flipping over to side 2, we get probably Echo and the Bunnymen's most popular song, most enduring track, The Killing Moon, which I have got the 12-inch single to show for this one actually, so I'll just do that now here. So on this you got a thing called the All Night version, not sure what that is, The Killing Moon, and then a live version of Do It Clean. And this is again just on the usual record label there. So this is an absolutely classic song, like a true masterpiece. Lyrically, it is quite a cryptic track here. Like McCulloch like woke up like with the line "Fate up against your will," which came to him like in like a dream. Like a lot of like the greatest like songwriters say that. Say that their best songs that usually come to them like when like, they're not like even like trying like or even like thinking about it. And musically, this song they've said is based around David Bowie's Space Oddity, like the chords to that one like played backwards. And like this would be like, as I said, like the Bunnymen's most popular song, reached number 9 on the UK charts. And it is a track which you're very, very proud of. Like Ian McCulloch has on like numerous times described this like as like the greatest song like of all time. Although I wouldn't go that far. It is a well accomplished song and like certainly like one of the best tracks like off the 80s there. Like a 10 out of 10 from me.
7 seas, swimming in
Okay, so now back to the album now, and we get another one of the singles, 7 Seas, which this is a more kind of pop-like orientated track here. You've got a great like acoustic guitar on it, like Les Patterson's bass part like kind of propels the song along. Got a great guitar solo in it. Just everything like about this song that just works really well. Again, lyrically slightly cryptic, like about what's it like kissing the tortoise shell, like is at the chorus, is that what like the chorus lines of this. But it's really catchy. I think this song probably deserved like a bit more commercial success because it only reached number 16 on the UK singles charts. But yeah, a wonderful track there, 7 Seas, and would get another 10 out of 10 from me. The next one is probably my least favourite like on the album. It's called My Kingdom, which this one is quite a forgettable song. Like even now, like I'm kind of struggling like to like remember like how it goes. I've got written here that it's quite a similar arrangement like to 7 Seas, like with like a kind of like bump like with like a kind of like sort of pumping bass part, like and like a like uplifting chorus. Just unfortunately, like it's not like all that memorable. I've also got written that it's got a slightly awkward, like distorted sort of solo like on the track, which doesn't quite fit in with it. But yeah, My Kingdom, not one of my favourites like on the record. Would get a 6 out of 10 from me. Although like it might like grow on me. It's just not one. It's just not a track which like you really hear like many people talking about much.
Hands on deck at dawn.
And then the record closes with the mighty Ocean Rain, the title track, which is a much sort of slower ballad number. And I really like the way this song very gradually builds. It starts quite like minimalistically, but like slowly builds up like to this very sort of like extravagant, like fully like orchestrated performance. Once again, like with the vocals on this, like McCulloch's sort of like channeling like sort of Scott Walker style like vocal performance, and like kind of like the whole sort of like string arrangement like on this run like really reminds me like a lot of like the stuff like on like Scott Walker's first full solo albums. So yeah, not a track what like instantly grabs you. Like it takes like a few listens to really like sort of like get this song, but like once you do, it is wonderful. So Ocean Rain would get a 9 out of 10 from me. Okay, so overall this album scores 88%, which is a very, very, very great score for it. I really like this record because it's got a sort of very cohesive like atmosphere, which is quite a dramatic like atmosphere, quite like majestic like as well, like with like the full like orchestra. But there's still kind of different songs though. So like you get like more like arranged ones, like more sort of like intricately like sort of like produced ones, like such as like Nocturnal Me, like the Yo-Yo Man, Thorn Of Crowns, but more kind of like more poppy, like upbeat numbers like Silver, Crystal Days and 7 Seas. This was a very, very different approach to what most like British like indie bands were doing like in like the mid 80s, like kind of like these sort of psychedelic like almost like nonsense lyrics. Like compare that like to like the kind of straight up like nature like of like the Smiths, like or like Lloyd Cole's more like Lloyd Cole's like more like well-read sort of style. Like this was quite different and like quite unique like for the time. Unfortunately though, the band didn't really build on like the success of like this record. Like, I mean, like it was certainly like a big like successful record for them, which they probably should have like sort of followed up sooner than they did. Like instead, like they actually toured, I think Scandinavia, like of all places, actually just playing cover songs like of bands like Television, Rolling Stones and like Talking Heads, like kind of just because that's what like they wanted to do for some reason. And like it took a full 3 years to make like a follow-up album, which although it was successful critically, like people like had that kind of moved on like from like Echo and the Bunnymen by that point in time. But yeah, like as it stands, it is a wonderful record to hear, like certainly like one of like the best albums like of the 80s. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed my review of Ocean Rain. If you've got any requests for future ones, please do leave them down below. And I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.